Total darkness. Chemical signals flooding your senses. You emerge into consciousness deep underground, surrounded by hundreds of identical sisters in a chamber so crowded you can barely move. Every single one of you is destined for the same thing. Grow wings, fly once, mate in midair with multiple partners who'll die immediately after, then rip your own wings off and spend the next 20 years as a bloated egg-laying machine in a hole. But first, the workers need to turn you into something that barely resembles an ant anymore. Right now you're just a pale, soft larva getting force-fed this mysterious jelly that's rewriting your entire biology. This isn't baby food, it's a chemical cocktail that's turning you into something between royalty and a reproductive monster. Your body stretches and warps, growing larger than any normal ant should be. Wing buds push through your skin like alien appendages. The workers won't stop feeding you, pumping you full of proteins and fats until you're so heavy you can barely lift your own head. You're not being raised, you're being manufactured. The workers stuff you with so much food you're basically a walking stomach with legs. Your body grows larger than your worker sisters, and those wing buds start pushing through your exoskeleton like the world's most uncomfortable puberty. Every meal is carefully delivered by workers who treat you like precious cargo. Which you are, considering the colony spent massive resources raising you. No pressure or anything. While your worker sisters are out there hauling crumbs 50 times their body weight, you're getting the VIP treatment in the deepest, safest part of the nest. But here's the catch. This luxury lifestyle comes with an expiration date. Once those wings fully develop, you're getting evicted faster than a college student who forgot to pay rent. The colony can only support so many freeloaders, even royal ones. The big day arrives when your wings finally harden. The entire colony goes into overdrive, and workers start pushing you and your fellow princess sisters toward the exits. This is your nuptial flight, basically the worst dating app experience ever, except it happens in midair and determines your entire future in about 15 minutes. Workers practically shove you out of the nest entrance into bright daylight you've never experienced before. Your eyes, used to the darkness of underground tunnels, burn from the sudden light. But there's no time to adjust because the air is suddenly thick with flying ants from every colony in the neighborhood. You spread those wings for the first time and launch yourself skyward, joining the massive swarm of virgin queens and males, all looking for their shot at genetic immortality. The males swarm around you like paparazzi at a red carpet event, except instead of wanting photos, they want to mate and then immediately die. How romantic. You dodge the slow ones, outmaneuver the clumsy ones, and finally select a male who seems decent enough for a 5-second relationship. The mating happens midair, and boom, he's done for. Literally, he falls to the ground, his life purpose complete. But wait, you're not done. You mate with several more males because one dead boyfriend isn't enough drama for one day. You need backup sperm for the next 20 years of egg laying. After this aerial speed dating disaster, you're loaded with enough sperm to last your entire lifetime. Time to get serious. You snap off your own wings like you're breaking off pieces of a Kit Kat bar. Those beautiful wings that took weeks to grow? Useless now. You'll never fly again. And honestly, after that chaotic mating flight, you're probably fine with that. Now comes the fun part. Finding real estate in a market where every patch of dirt already has 1,000 neighbors. You wander around like you're house hunting with impossible standards. Too rocky here, too dry there, too close to another colony that would absolutely murder you on sight. After hours of searching, you find the perfect spot and start digging. Your jaw muscles burn as you excavate grain after grain of soil, creating your first chamber. This pathetic little hole is your kingdom's ground zero. You seal yourself inside this cramped, dark chamber with no food, no workers, and no Netflix. Just you, the sperm you're carrying, and whatever fat reserves you've got stored in your body. You start laying eggs, which is weird because you're also going to have to raise these kids entirely by yourself at first. The eggs need constant attention, temperature control, and cleaning, or they'll get infected with fungus and die. So you lick them, constantly. Your entire life becomes an endless cycle of egg licking and waiting. Your first eggs hatch into tiny larvae that look like moving rice grains with mouths. These demanding little grubs need food, but surprise, you haven't eaten anything since you sealed yourself in here weeks ago. So you do what any reasonable mother would do. You feed them your own body. You literally dissolve your now useless flight muscles and regurgitate them as baby food. Your body starts eating itself to keep your offspring alive. Delicious. These first workers are special. They're tiny, underfed, and honestly kind of pathetic compared to workers from established colonies, but they're yours. These nenitic workers, as they're called, are like the beta version of ants. They're small, because you could barely feed them, but they're scrappy. Once they pupate and emerge as adults, they immediately break through your sealed chamber and venture into the dangerous outside world to find food. Finally, you can eat something that isn't your own dissolved body parts. With food coming in, you shift into egg-laying overdrive. Your abdomen swells to grotesque proportions as you transform into a baby-making machine. You're laying dozens of eggs daily, each one carefully fertilized with that stored sperm from your long-dead boyfriends. The workers build new chambers, expanding your underground empire room by room. Within months, you've got hundreds of daughters running around, and within a year, thousands. Your body keeps growing until you're this massive, bloated egg factory that can barely move. The workers have to drag you if the colony ever needs to relocate. You've become furniture that poops out babies. Years pass, and your colony grows into a legitimate underground city. You've got soldiers with massive heads and jaws that could clip a pencil in half. You've got workers specialized for different jobs, foragers, nurses, architects, even living food storage tanks called repletes in some species. Your daughters wage war on neighboring colonies, form supply chains that would make logistics companies jealous, and some even farm fungus or herd aphids like cattle. You've built an empire, but you'll never see any of it because you're stuck in the royal chamber, pumping out eggs like a Victorian-era baby factory. Your workers bring you food, groom you, and literally carry your poop away. You're living the dream, if the dream is being an immobile egg dispenser who hasn't seen sunlight in 2 decades. Sometimes your workers will bring you news from the outside world through chemical signals. "Hey Mom, we just found a dead butterfly!" Or, "Mom, the colony next door is attacking again." But mostly your life is just endless egg production, occasionally punctuated by having to eat one of your own daughters when food gets scarce. Circle of life and all that. 20 years have passed. Your egg production starts slowing down. That stored sperm from your wedding flight is finally running low. You're still laying eggs, but now some of them are unfertilized, which means they'll develop into males. Your colony senses the end approaching and starts raising new queens, feeding them that special royal jelly just like you got fed all those years ago. You can feel the colony's attention shifting away from you toward these new princesses. The workers aren't quite as attentive anymore. Sometimes they forget to remove your waste immediately, or the food they bring isn't as fresh. Your movements get slower. Your egg laying becomes irregular. Some days you don't lay any eggs at all. The workers start treating you less like a queen and more like a problematic grandmother they're not sure what to do with. Eventually, one day, you just stop. Your massive body, after decades of service, finally gives out. The workers will probably eat your body, recycling every nutrient back into the colony. Your daughters will consume you, using your proteins to raise the next generation of queens who will fly away and start their own kingdoms. But here's the kicker. Those new queens flying away? They're carrying your genes, sure. But they're also carrying the genes of those males you mated with 20 years ago. Those guys who died in seconds after mating? Their genetic legacy outlived them by decades, preserved in your specialized organ like some kind of biological time capsule. You were basically a walking sperm bank with a crown, and somehow that was enough to build an empire of millions. Your colony will probably collapse without you, but somewhere out there, one of your daughters is ripping off her wings and starting to dig, ready to spend the next 20 years as a royal baby factory. The family business continues, one cramped underground chamber at a time.